Guys do not approach you at the bar not because you're not pretty, but it's because of this. I've been going to the bars every weekend with my friends, maybe for the past couple months, and I love it. I love socializing, and I'm single. And my friend and I were talking at the bar the other weekend, and we were talking about how we've never been approached by a single guy before. Like, maybe ever, which is just insane to think about. Like, I can name a couple occurrences where they have, but it was like people from Europe, and they're like a different breed of people, okay? So I feel like the culture in America is way different. Guys do not want to approach you, not because of how pretty you are or how you look, but it's really because they're scared of you. And then us women over here who are single are thinking like, we look amazing, we did our makeup, we chose the perfect outfit. Why aren't all these guys coming up to us? Even if we're not into them, why don't they just come up just to like make us feel good about ourselves? Okay, now I want you to think of the perspective of a guy. I'll never know what's in a man's head, but I have a pretty good idea from like my guy friends and going out a lot. Guys are intimidated by you, okay? They don't all have that courage or charisma or just bravery to go up to you like you have to somebody else. And on top of just being intimidated by going up to a stranger in general, you're probably surrounded by a big group of friends. And even worse if you're surrounded by your guy friends, because they're gonna assume that you're dating one of them, and no one wants to go up to a girl who's surrounded by a bunch of guys, okay? It's just a cock block. So now you're probably thinking, okay, we have this information, but what do we do with it? First off, I don't really think bars are the best place to really find a relationship. It's great to meet people, have fun, really get to know other people. But if you're putting all your eggs in one basket and really putting so much pressure on finding a guy that will take you seriously, that's going to be very hard. The other thing is that we always make fun of dating apps a lot, but I think the percentage is something like 60% of people now meet their significant other on the internet. Because people don't go up to other people anymore because they know they can meet you on a dating app. It's so much easier. This past Saturday, I literally went up to a group of guys and was like, do you want to play cards? I wasn't attracted to any of them, but I'm so happy I did it because I made a new group of friends and it was so much fun. And initially I thought that they weren't that fun. Like, they just seemed like they were like moping around. They all had RBFs, like whatever, and I went up to them and they ended up being the funniest group of guys ever. And I'm sure a lot of guys think of you that way too. You might have like an RBF or just you don't seem approachable, but little do they know how you really are. So the takeaway from this video is that guys not coming up to you out in public says nothing about you. You can literally be like Gigi Hadid and a guy's still not going to come up to you. Guys are intimidated, and it takes so much courage to go up to a girl. And a lot of guys are cheap and just don't want to buy you a drink, and they're scared of getting used for a drink, which kind of sucks, but I understand. So do not weigh your worth in whether or not people come up to you, because you are probably way more stunning and people are probably way more attracted to you than you think they are.
So why do men no longer come up to women? I asked this in a TikTok last week, and it got so many comments, especially from men. And I just want to preface this with, this was no shade to men. This post was no shade to men, and neither is this one. I was just genuinely curious and asking. I love men, I think they're awesome, and I think that they're a little confused right now. But most of the responses said something like, we were told not to go up to you guys, and we were told that you want to be left alone, and you just want your own space, and you don't want us approaching you. Which for some women, that can absolutely be true, but I love meeting people in person, and I just think that it takes a confident person to go up to someone when you see them in person, and I think it's a really cool way to meet people rather than meeting people online. Men were also saying things like they were called creeps and weirdos, and they don't want to be called that. It's not a pleasant experience. But I will say that it has to do with how you approach a woman. Like, for example, myself and my friends have had men come up to us with a really, really intense energy, like a very in-your-face energy, and they're really nervous and they're kind of scattered and they're very pushy or weird, and their energy is just off. And one of the most attractive things to a woman is emotional intelligence, and that shows within like the first few seconds of meeting someone when they introduce themselves to you. So if you're gonna go up to a woman, just like take a calm, deep breath. If you see a woman working on her laptop or something at a cafe, you can go up to her and be like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I thought you were really beautiful and you seem interesting. I would love to get to know you more if you're interested. And then slipping her your number on a napkin or something, you know? Like just coming up to women with a calm energy and not giving off this like needy energy or this like pushy energy. I think that is what women don't like. I think it's really sweet and cute to be approached in person, and I know that there's a lot of women like me. There's probably some women out there who don't want to be approached, and that's fine, and it's hard to tell who's who. But I think you can tell when you go up to a girl kind of right away if she'd be interested or not based on her body language, and just be calm and natural and don't overthink it. You know, I know that's easier said than done. I've only gone up to a man once in my whole life, but I think that might help. I don't know. I think I'm just someone who's very interested in people interacting with each other and having experiences and building community. And I think the world is growing more and more introverted and people are on their phones more. And I just think it's beautiful to meet people out and in person, and I just don't want to lose that as a humanity.
Why are men not confident enough to walk up to women now? Say shout out to the guys who are confident enough to walk up to women. The masculinity on earth has diminished drastically that guys don't even come up to you anymore. They'll just stare at you from a distance. As a woman who's trying to embody her feminine energy, you're not going to catch me going up to the guy. You're just not. We can just stare at each other. Say shout out to the guys who are confident enough to walk up to women, because guys don't do that anymore. If God were to guarantee that your 20th person would be the love of your life, you would be so happy to be rejected by all 19. So why are men not confident enough to walk up to women now? We don't chase. We signal like, you can come up to me now. But all men do is just look at you now. And of course, like, if the woman is interested, she's gonna keep looking your way too, but it just like stays like that. Nothing ever happens because men don't walk up to women anymore, or they're just tired of being rejected. But it's like, if God were to tell you that you're gonna go through 20 rejections before you get to your yes, and that's gonna be the love of your life, you guys would be so happy to go through all 20 because you would just be so closer to the love of your life. Come on, guys, you guys gotta do better.
One thing you gotta understand about men is that they will not pursue you if they feel like they are not worthy of you. They will self-sabotage because they feel like what you bring to the table, like they cannot match up to that. If they feel like you're too smart, too ambitious, too anything, and they can't match up, they will self-sabotage. So before you think that you're the problem, what did I do wrong? No. It's almost like, what did you do right? You'd be surprised how many men will literally be like, okay, no, I'm not gonna compete, or I'm not gonna like try and pursue her because she's too much of this for me or that for me. I promise you, it is 99% never you. Don't be sad and wondering about what that happened with that guy. It's honestly them, not you.
Why men don't approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he gonna go in for the kiss? Is he gonna hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move, he's not doing anything, we're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted, or that there's just being told there's no spark. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, it's not because that you're not attracted to her. It's more about fearing that you're either going to get rejected, maybe you're going to get turned down, you know, slapped in the face when you go for that first move, or even worse, like getting in trouble with the law. So you need to ask yourself, does this sound like you? The truth is, you probably missed that golden opportunity to create that spark. And she likely was giving you signals that you just didn't quite catch.
There's an epidemic of men not approaching women at the bar. Let's talk about it. Men are afraid of being rejected.
But I bet you 90% of the women will actually not reject you if you approach them right.
What's the right way?
Reading their body language. If you're gonna go up to a girl that is clearly like dancing with her friends, like, yes, of course she's gonna like ignore you. Or if she's like in such a serious conversation up in the corner, she doesn't want to be approached. You're probably approaching those girls. That's why your like ego is like bruised, because you're getting rejected by girls like that.
Only because they're not at the bar looking for a guy, because they're dating someone, had just gotten out of a relationship, or they're just trying to catch up with their friend.
But like, we still want to be approached.
And I think a lot of girls do. Even if we're not into you, it flatters us, and we'll kindly shoo you away if we're not into it.
But not really like shoo you away. Like, it might be like, okay, like, so good meeting you. Like, we're gonna go to the bathroom or we're gonna go grab another drink. But it's not like a rejection. Like,
Yeah.
okay, bye.
We're gonna go out tonight and see how hard it is. Because it's not hard.
It's not
And
hard.
we're
We've
gonna-
done it a lot.
We're gonna report back tomorrow, I promise.
We have to take our own advice.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys. They're almost like happy about the fact that they're gonna make the choice to avoid the entire gender of women because they have yet to actually resolve the war they have within themselves.
My guy friend told me recently that he doesn't even want to hit on women in person anymore because he's afraid of coming off as a creep when he's not actually trying to be a creep, you know? And when he said that, I was like, can you please stop smelling my hair while you explain that to me, you know? But I didn't believe him, you know? I was like, why would anyone do that? Like, why would someone accuse you of being weird if that's not what's in your heart? You know, I just didn't think it was a real energy in the world until later that night, I was walking home alone and there was a pigeon walking like 5 feet in front of me. And yeah, I don't know if you've ever walked behind a pigeon for like an extended period of time, but they do make you feel weird about it. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even looking at this particular pigeon. All of a sudden, he started accelerating kind of out of nowhere, you know, but like not crossing the street just yet, but like giving me these darting, suspicious looks like I'm going to do something to him. You know? I was like, I don't even look at you that way, you know? But now I am staring at his giant badonkadonk like I don't want to be, you know? I have to calm myself down in the middle of the night, like, relax, Denise, like no one thinks you're following this pigeon for any weird reasons, you know? And then he turned a corner and I'm like, well, I was also gonna turn the same corner. Like, I'm not gonna detour for a bird, right? Until finally, by the end of it, I did turn into a full-on incel and I had to be like, okay, first of all, you're not even the best looking pigeon on this block.
Okay, this is a serious question for the guys. I have this conversation with my female friends, I think, like, I'm not even kidding, once a week. So I'm just curious what the real reasoning is behind it. But most of my girlfriends say that whenever they're out, they never get approached by guys, ever. And maybe like one girl in the friend group who does get approached, it's not like she's a total standout from the group. But for some reason, like a specific girl might just like get hit on a lot. I don't know. But not even in a biased way. I think that some of my friends are very, very beautiful. Like, actually, I'm not just saying that to be nice. So it makes me really curious as to why guys don't go up to them. Is it like, one, even if you see an attractive girl, like, you're just hanging out with your friends, you don't really care? 2, you're just simply not attracted to her? 3, maybe you like think she's just like in a relationship, or like she's just super standoffish and like bitchy looking, or like in general you just like don't want to deal with any type of rejection. Like, is it the guy's point of view, or is it just like the girls are putting out this weird vibe, or like just guys don't find them attractive? I don't know. But most of my friends like want to meet guys in person, but then they go out and just like nothing really happens. So what is it?
Apologies, I just got out of the shower and I'm looking disheveled, but I think this is a great question and hopefully I'll be able to elaborate on all of this from a guy's perspective. Now, number one, with the attractive thing, to be honest, and we're just gonna be straight up honest here, guys will approach anyone from a 4 to a 10. So this idea of being attractive or not, I mean, it obviously helps to be more attractive to get more attention, but I'll tell you straight up from a guy's perspective, if a girl is too conventionally attractive, meaning she looks like every other typical OnlyFans Instagram models, blonde hair, you know, fake lips, just that whole look, off the bat, I can acknowledge objectively that she's attractive, but unfortunately with that look and with that kind of attractiveness, immediately to my mind comes high maintenance, egotistical, bad attitude. All those bad traits that come with those girls come to mind. So 100%, your friend might be beautiful, but because she looks so conventionally beautiful like all these other girls out there, it's actually a negative. I would rather girls have their own style, look beautiful in their own way, as opposed to all these girls trying to look the same because they think that's beautiful. It's more important for a girl to be herself than to be someone she's not. And especially in that aspect, huge detriment for guys. Like, if you go with a whole group of girlfriends, cool. But at some point in the night or whatever, when you're hitting the dance floor, getting drinks or whatever, I'd suggest going in pairs of 2, okay? That's a strategy. Because even if a guy's a complete G, no guy is walking up to a table of 10 girls to try to talk to one girl. It's never gonna happen. Just straight up never gonna happen. This goes into what I was gonna say next is, girls, unfortunately, single girls keep girls single. Let me say that again. Single girls keep girls single. I cannot count the amount of times I've approached a girl or talked to a girl and one of the friends is giving the judgmental side eye, the pulling away. Girls, your friends are cock blocking you mad hard. There's always that hater friend that is gonna say no, this, that, and the other thing. And trust me, I'm not even saying that because you know what I mean? I've been rejected 100 times, whatever the case may be. You can legitimately tell when a girl's into it, wants to talk to you, but her one friend is just so, oh babe, come over here. No, she doesn't want to talk to you, this, that, and the other thing, even if your friend's totally into it. So girls, if you have friends like that, you have to deal with that. Single girls are gonna keep girls single. It's unfortunate, okay? Guys will wingman other guys. Girls will do everything they can do to not let their friend hook up with a guy if they're not having fun or they're not getting attention. It's just, it is what it is. You do bring up a very, very good point about the fear of rejection. And to be honest, there's not one guy since a young lad who hasn't been absolutely crushed by girls, you know, making plans on a Friday night for 8 o'clock. The girl texts you at 7:30. Oh, you know what? Like, I'm sick. You know, my fucking aunt from New Brunswick, from fucking halfway across the country, decided to come and visit, and there's nothing I can do. I mean, girls, unfortunately, a lot of girls have like screwed each other on the front end because of that type of bullshit. But girls, not to mention with the feminist nonsense, the Me Too movement, I mean, guys are getting yelled at for opening the door for girls. So, I mean, so now you're asking a guy to approach a group of 10 girls to roll the dice to probably get rejected in a catastrophe, ridiculous way. So, I mean, at that point, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Factually, the best pickup artists in the entire world go for, it's 1 to 10 ratio, meaning that they're successful or have a positive interaction with 1 out of 10 girls. And these are guys that have studied game, that make money from talking to girls. So the odds are stacked against guys. So I mean, at that particular point, I completely understand why guys are just completely checking out. Like, why wouldn't I just drink with my boys, have a good time, when the other option is, yeah, like I'm going to approach this girl and then be called all kinds of names and have my like name dragged through social media because I thought a girl was hot and now like she's just pissed at me. Whatever. I don't know what to do about that. But just a tip for you girls, and I think that this will make the biggest difference. Girls, if you see a guy you like at the club, gym, wherever, simple thing. Eye contact, smile. That's going to tell a guy, I think you're attractive, or at least that gives a guy the green light to approach you. That's all you got to do. And girls, if you can't do that, buy a dog, die alone. That's really all I have to say to you.
But that's why I'm like, okay, and that's why I wanted to talk about this with you, because I'm like, if I feel this way, there's so many other people in the world that are feeling this way. And if anything, more and more as like social media becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and dating apps, the more people feel uncomfortable to talk to you in real life. And I'm like someone that's very, very much like passionate about, like, I have Raya, but like I've never went on a date from a dating app. Not that I like judge it or anything. I just have this weird internal knowing that like I'm gonna meet someone in real life, like organically through friends. That's how I've always met everyone. But then now it's like the more people are going on social media, the more uncomfortable even some men are to like walk up to you. It's like I've seen guys stare at me like the whole night, and I'm like, you are still never gonna fucking say anything?
Isn't that crazy?
It's
They'll
so
just
annoying.
Stare, like as if you're supposed to make the first move.
Yeah, I'm like,
that is so normalized. I totally agree with you, because right now everyone is so behind the keyboards on the dating apps, like on the paywall platforms. Like there's so many ways that we're just disconnecting from other people and losing, honestly, that sense of like that social aspect, that social lubricant, whatever it is that makes you be able to go around a room and talk to strangers and all this, that confidence essentially. And
So I just left the gym. Well, actually I just left Whole Foods because I was grocery shopping, but I think I saw like the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life at the gym. And I was working out and he was like staring at me, and he was actually like down the treadmill, like 2 treadmills down. So then like I got off the treadmill and I went to the sauna, and then I saw him again. He came to the sauna. The whole time he was like staring at me and he did not say one word. And I'm just like, are you gonna say anything? Like, and I'm not like the kind of person to like approach or talk to a guy first. I know like a lot of girls do that. I just can't. Maybe that's why I'm still single. But men, like, seriously, if you're gonna like stare, like, why don't you say something? Like, what is wrong with men these days? Like, they'll stare at you but they won't say anything. It's just so weird to me.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore or don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift? Because back in my mom's era, if a guy wanted to take you out on a date, he had to go up to you, he had to get your number, he had to go through lengths to try to talk to you, even if you weren't interested at first. How my parents met? They met at a bar, and my dad asked for my mom to dance, and my mom was like, get out of here. She wanted nothing to do with him. If he had just left and listened to her, they would have never gotten married, they would have never had kids. But he was persistent. He wanted to take her out on a date so badly. He was like, what do I have to do to take you out on a date? She was working late their first date, so he went to her work, picked her up, prepped a dinner, took her to a park, just planned the whole thing. He wrote her poetry. He was yearning. How my aunt and my uncle met. My aunt was a dancer on a cruise ship, and he was the photographer. And he was persistent. She overheard him one night saying to his buddy, he was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. He had just met her. And now they're married, and they have 2 kids together. I don't hear anything like that now. Now we're praising eye contact. Now we're praising if a guy held a door open to us and smiled. That is what we're praising. It feels so backwards. I just wonder when it shifted, because I feel like that is the whole downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone now, because men just don't care anymore.
Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever. Oh my god, like, please. I'll take a fucking construction worker catcall at this point. Please.
If you go up to random girls in public and you're like, hey, you're beautiful, can I take you on a date? Usually that makes girls really uncomfortable and it comes across as desperate, lacking social skills, and also makes us wonder how many other girls you're doing that to. And obviously it's flattering and I'd never take it the wrong way. I just think it's embarrassing to the person that's doing that, if that makes sense. And you should use basic social skills when you're approaching women. So what that means is gauging if they're attracted to you or not. Are they staring at you? Are they making eye contact with you? Are they smiling at you? And obviously this isn't going to be the case in most situations, because I think people in general just lack social skills a lot nowadays, including myself. So in that case, you go up to them and you say, hey, like, I love your shoes. Hey, do you know a good coffee shop around here? Start a friendly conversation. Don't lead with commenting on their appearance or asking them out. And then from there, you can gauge if they're attracted to you or not. So are they making eye contact with you? Are their pupils dilating? Are they smiling? Are they continuing the conversation? And if they are, then you can ask for their number and like text them for a bit and then ask them out. Like, that's how you should talk to girls in public. And I say this on behalf of all women.
Guys, men used to go to war and now they look at you weird when you approach them at the bar because all they did was stand around and stare at the wall all night.
I feel like it's so rare that men shoot their shot in public anymore, or like even just say hi like a normal human being. I feel like men are so intimidated now and hiding behind social media. They don't know how to talk to girls in real life anymore. And the ones that do are like the freaks, and they be approaching you in the weirdest ways.
Men are not approaching women because they're afraid of the woman calling him a freak or weird or creep or threatening, when he is probably, in most cases, just trying to have a simple interaction and get her number or start a conversation. But I've seen so many TikToks where a woman will go viral for telling a story about how a man came up to her and said something very normal, but she calls him a freak and calls him weird or threatening or whatnot, probably because she just didn't find him attractive. But at the same time that's happening, women really want men to make the first move because they want an assertive man who's brave enough to come talk to a stranger. So I totally understand both perspectives, but they clash. So what do we do about this scenario? No one's talking to anyone, no one's getting any numbers. What do we do?
Okay, here are some of my theories why men don't approach women in public. Okay, number one, I think they have had a super horrible, traumatic experience with like literally one woman. Like one woman really did them so dirty that traumatized them moving forward. Like they can't even move forward because they're still so hurt from the past one experience that they're moving from a place of hurt and not from like a healed perspective. 2, men have a very sensitive ego, and they rather protect that ego from it getting bruised just a little bit just simply by a rejection from a woman than to actually go and pursue something. Okay, and 3rd point, men have it way too easy now with all the dating apps and Instagram and sliding into someone's DMs. Like, why would they want to do that in public when they can just choose the easy way out and do it through social media behind a screen?
Why don't boys approach us? Like, we're literally so hot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I have a question, and maybe this is a stupid question, but that hasn't stopped me in the past from asking my questions. My question here, you know, my brother was telling me about how in the gym, guys don't really approach girls, which, good. Don't approach me. Don't talk to me. Thank you. But so then I was like, if we're supposed to approach guys, how do you know when a guy wants to be approached by a girl? You know? Like, because girls, we'll give like the little ojitos, we'll give little signs. Like, you know, it'll be like we'll keep looking back. They're like, ah. But how do you know? Like, if you're a guy and you saw a pretty girl and you wanted her to talk to you because you don't want to talk to her, what do you do? Please let me know. That's what I'm curious about. Thank you.
You see a lot of talk online talking about how like men are like becoming women and all that shit, but nobody ever talks about the technicalities of it. Like, for example, like I'm talking to this guy, right? I didn't respond to him for like 13 hours, I guess, because we've been snapping, but I don't really use Snap, and I told him that, but I was like asleep for like 2/3 of it, and now he's like doing that stupid shit where he's trying to teach me a lesson. Yeah. Like, you piss a guy off and all of a sudden, like, he's got everything in the world to post on his, like, Snapchat story while he's, like, ignoring you. It's like, he didn't ever post before, but now it's, like, now it's time, you know what I mean? It's like, why are we, like, in middle school? Like, we're not, like, we cannot do this. Like, bring back wars, dude.
Okay, unpopular opinion, but I get why men don't approach women in public anymore. Like, I get it. I've seen videos of men approaching women, and women can just be so rude. Like, I get if you have a boyfriend. I get if you're not interested. But, like, look out for us. Because that moment that you reject him in the worst way, it's just like he's never going to do it again. and I hate that for us.
I'm going to make this really, really simple for you, okay? So just listen up. Harassing women versus going up to them and having a conversation with them when they make it clear that they want to be talked to are two completely different things. And if you do not know the difference between those situations, then I highly, highly recommend don't approach them. I'm not sure how me walking outside and being catcalled and being said, hey baby, hey, you look good today. Oh, your dog's so cute. Hey, convince your mommy to let me take her out to dinner is even in the same realm for you as just approaching a woman, having a conversation and asking her out. Once again, if you really can't tell the difference, just don't approach her. I guarantee you she will be really thankful for it.
All right, y'all. Here's a question. Why men don't approach women anymore? Glad you asked. Let's get into it, family. Happy Saturday, everybody. Number 1, the fear of rejection. Women today, as we know, have some unrealistic standards. Some women. Unless he has a 6-pack, 6 figure, and is 6 feet, you can't talk to him. Number 2, it's not just about the fear of rejection. For some men, it's the fear of being labeled a creep or a predator because the man that's approaching you isn't your type. So because he's interested in you, he a creep? Come on now. Number 3, online dating, which has made it so men don't have to get rejected in person. Number 4, social media. Now you can just run up in somebody's DM. You don't have to have communication skills. I think all this technology and everything has made our communication skills terrible, y'all. Terrible. And last, we've seen how women will reject men in unnecessarily rude ways. It's okay to not be interested, to try to embarrass them. Y'all, we gotta stop.
Here's what I think about when it comes to men approaching women. Why don't you do it more often? Honestly, I'm getting sick of everyone being like, well, women have just shoved us out so hard or they don't want to be approached anymore. I'm like, okay, listen. First of all, you can tell a vibe if it's there or not immediately, right? A guy came up to my friend and I at Boondocks and he was like, are you guys from here? And we're like, yeah. Or we're not from here, but live here now. And whenever you go to Boondocks in Scottsdale, you know they're going to be surrounded by bachelor parties, okay? So, like, just keep your eyes open, keep everything peeled. Like, you're going to probably be around some guys that are trying to, like, look to just be there, hit it and quit it, which is, you know, I mean, good for you. He came in and he was like asking us where they should go, and we're like, you don't have anything planned? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, that just seems like wrong, and it seems like an excuse for you to come up to us, but like we weren't mean to him. We were just like talking to him, like it was a conversation. I think like if you just go up to a woman and have a conversation, why not just try it? I don't get it. The Falcos in Scottsdale. I think the biggest thing for me is that I'm a confident, outgoing person. I really do have no problem going up to someone, but like I want to see if a man has confidence and comes up to me, because that's what I ultimately find sexy. You know, like if you have confidence and you have a good personality and you come up to me and you have no problem doing it and having a conversation, like I'm into it. I think that's really sweet. Obviously, it depends how the conversation goes. If I can read that you're just kind of like a weirdo after that, like then I'm going to be like, okay, swerve, right? But if you can hold a conversation, then most likely I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, how you doing? I don't plan to meet the love of my life at a bar, but you never know. It's just getting to a point where I'm like, wow, men and women really are not speaking at bars anymore. It's everything I wanted and more. You would have thought I haven't eaten in days. What the fuck?
Hi guys, this is for 30-year-old women who are Christian and still single. I'll start by saying this. I turned 30 last year. I'm gonna be 31 this fall. I have never been asked out on a date in my life, and I mean that. Never. I've never been approached by a guy. I've never had a man show interest in me. And I would never have admitted to that a couple years ago. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that. I was like, oh, it's because I'm stupid maybe, or, you know, I'm not attractive, or all these things. Like, I thought it was a deficiency in me. But I have been hearing from other women the exact same thing, especially Christian women, where it's like, you know, no one, you know, I'm 27, I'm 28, I've never been asked out. And so I think there's a problem on both sides. I think that women get blamed a lot, where people will say, you know, you hurt yourself in your 20s, and you know, you cared about your career and you did all these things to keep men away from you. And I think I never did any of that stuff. And I know a lot of other women who didn't do that stuff. And they're just, men aren't asking women out maybe. I don't know. I do put myself out there, and I know other women who put themselves out there. You know, we'll get all cute, we'll go to the tea shops, we're very open to having conversations with strangers, and you know, we do a lot of things in hopes that someone will just walk up to us and say, hey, you know, here's my number or whatever. However that works, I don't know. And there's not a lot of men doing that, and I will make some more videos. I have stories and stuff I'd like to share. But anyways, I hope it's an encouragement to those who are like me, because I didn't see any videos like this a year ago, and that would have been really helpful. So that's why I'm putting this out there. Don't be embarrassed. Jesus loves you, and I don't know, maybe we can fix this or talk about how we can fix it.
Oh, baby girl, you're pretty as hell. I looked at your profile. You're just as pretty as me, if not prettier. And girls way less conventionally pretty than you and I are still very attractive to men. You think men aren't approaching you because you're not pretty? Oh, baby girl, men aren't approaching you because they're scared of you. Men aren't not approaching women because they're not attracted to them. They're not approaching women because they're terrified. They don't know what they're doing. They're afraid of creeping us out. They don't know. They're so afraid. I'm pretty sure I get approached way more than the average woman. And it's not because I'm so hot. You wanna know why men approach me all the time? As soon as I say it, you're gonna be like, that actually makes so much sense. Are you ready? Are you ready? They approach me because I'm approachable. You know how some people have resting bitch face? I have resting smiley face. Think you guys, if I'm dancing and I make eye contact with somebody, my instinct is to point at them and start singing or to do this. They can't resist that. Men look at me and they see a bubbly little jumping bean and think, I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be nice to me. And they're right. I'm so friendly. It's actually a problem. It's actually something I'm working on. I'm really bad at being mean to people, and a lot of men will not leave you alone until you're mean to them. That's why the best combo is when I go out with a girlfriend who's like kind of a bitch. Like the bitch bubbly girl combo, unstoppable. Because she'll make sure that nobody harasses us, and I'll make sure that we're drinking for free. If you don't believe me, then you go do the approach. Go approach men. And if you think they didn't seem interested, you probably just didn't do it right, okay? You need to be really clear with men. They don't know you're flirting with them. I tell men when they're approaching women that the first thing they need to do is to just establish comfort and safety and a lack of threat so that there's no creepiness. But because creepiness is ambiguity of threat and women don't pose as much threat to men as vice versa, it's totally different rules for us. It's very difficult for us to creep men out. What's way more likely is a man not realizing what's happening. So while I would never tell a man to do this, for a woman, what you do is you go up to a man, you smile and say, hi, I'm Brenna, I like your hair, your arms or your nose or whatever, some physical compliment. Really try to make it physical, because if you compliment their hat, they'll be like, oh, she likes the sports team on my hat. Like they won't, they need you to be really clear. Sometimes I even say things like, you're really funny, I'm so glad I decided to flirt with you. Because they need to hear, flirt with you, flirting with you, I'm flirting with you. It puts them at ease, it makes them happy, just trust me. And if you're like, but Brenna, you approaching them takes all the fun out. Like, how am I even supposed to be attracted to a guy if he doesn't approach me? Then I got you, girl. Try what I would call the messenger method. When you're out with a group of girls, go up to a group of guys and go up to one of them and be like, hey, sorry to interrupt, but my friend over there, the one with the red hair, she thinks you're really cute and would love to talk to you. And then walk away. This, my friend, is a win-win-win. You win because you didn't have to do anything vulnerable or scary. Like, you didn't approach anybody. You were just delivering a message. She wins because Guy is still going to approach her. And he wins because he's not so scared anymore. He's got a clear invitation to come up and speak with you. You're like, you are welcome and encouraged to approach the table. His friends are all going to be like cheering him on. Plus, the ball's in his court. If he's not into it or he's got a girlfriend, he doesn't have to reject anybody. He can simply not approach if he doesn't want to. Everybody's happy. You're welcome.
Some Korean men are refusing to help women. A few days ago, a woman in her 20s lost consciousness and fainted when she was on the subway. Apparently, there were a bunch of men in their 20s and 30s who refused to help, and saying something to the extent of, it has nothing to do with me, which got the women on the internet pissed. According to the Korean woman, the reason being, all able-bodied Korean men have to serve military service. They do learn CPR in the military. So it was expected for men in their 20s and 30s who likely just got out of the military to jump in and help because they know how to do CPR. But a lot of the men on the train didn't. And their reason being, they did not want to be accused of sexual harassment. There were a few incidents where men were actually accused for sexual harassment, for trying to help the women. Back in 2014, a South Korean woman had actually tried to sue a male EMT paramedic for doing CPR and doing chest compressions on her. Although the paramedic wasn't charged or convicted with anything, since he was reported, he still had to go through an investigation. There was also another story shared of a Korean guy going up the steps in the subway station, and there was a woman in front of him seemingly about to fall. He put out his hands and tried to grab her from the back to prevent her from falling. The girl freaked out and called the police on him, and he ended up in the police station. That being said, these are all the men's side of the story. They'd rather be a bystander than getting their names tainted with SA. This all seems a little crazy to me. I mean, I get it if you don't want to touch the person because you don't know what's going on. At least call for help. What do you think?
3 reasons why men are no longer approaching women. And these are in general, not from personal experience, so please don't come after me. The number 3 reason why men don't approach women is because we take their kindness, their compliment, as being flirtatious. It can't just be a compliment. Men have alternative motives, but women have been conditioned to think like that, right? Second reason is men will become the subject of the group chat, and you will have a nickname attached to you forever. Whether your nickname becomes public or private is to be determined. But the number 1 reason is because everyone wants to make everything into a story time. And so as a man, if it flops with your interaction of approaching a woman, you will become the main topic of a story time. And how vulnerable does that feel? I don't think that sounds like a fun time at all. So that's my top 3 reasons why I don't think men are approaching women anymore. Again, don't come after me. It's just in general. Okay, bye.
Okay. I have some thoughts about why I don't think men approach women, specifically in New York City. Maybe I can generalize to all metropolitan cities in general. This is coming from a girl who has been in a long-term relationship for over 5 years. So if that triggers you, please scroll, because fair, I don't have like actual in the field experience with this. But I have noticed this with all my friends who are majority single in New York. And when I go out with them, even large groups of women, which I know are very intimidating, I wouldn't approach a large group of women either. And also small groups of women, like I'm talking like 2 or 3 girls, where it's a more approachable number of women. Why I think this is not happening as often as we would like, or historically, is because I think women just have more autonomy now. I believe like back in the 1900s, 1800s, women couldn't own land, couldn't vote, didn't even think they could ever have a career. That never crossed their minds. They were trad wives living at home, supporting their husband, raising children, birthing children. Yes, of course, like many women still do that, and as they should and are, it's totally fine. But a reason why I don't think men are approaching women these days is because we're equaling the playing field. We have careers. We are basically attaining what men also want, which is success. Many are businesswomen. Sometimes we can make more than men. You know, these things are happening. It's real. We aren't just spending time at home. We aren't just focusing on getting married and raising children. And specifically in New York City and metropolitan cities, it's just like there's a larger population of women who aren't as focused as being a stay-at-home wife as maybe somewhere, another city. Therefore, when man and woman enter a bar, man probably doesn't feel like a woman is as accessible to them. And this could be a total generalization. So, I mean, please don't like be mean, but I really do believe men are mostly intimidated by women because women have more autonomy now. And I'm not pro-feminist. I'm not like raw, we hate men. I really just do believe the playing fields are equal. And I also put the pressure on women too. I'm like, I think we should be going up to men. Like, if it really is, if those of you who are complaining that men are not approaching you, like, yes, I don't really believe chivalry is dead, but it's really dwindling. I think you guys should take it upon yourself to approach men as well. I think being your true and most authentic form of yourself is the most important way to attract a man that is compatible to you. Always be yourself. But number 2, I really do think men like confident women. And also, if you're attracted to a woman that's confident, like, you guys are going to find each other if a woman's approaching you. So all this to say is I don't think men are approaching women in New York City and other cities because we're equals. And I think they're intimidated. And also everybody fears rejection, but rejection is probably more feasible these days because we got our own bag. So
this person doesn't want to chase you, you don't want to chase them, so then no one's really trying.
Okay, in this video, this girl's talking about a conversation she had with her friend about why the dating scene is dead in 2024, and this is right up my street. So the answer to this question is pornography. And in the past, men didn't have that luxury. They would have to chase the woman. They would give her gifts. They would give her compliments and keep asking her, you know, courting her, trying to get her to go on a date with them. But now they don't do that because they don't have the motivation to do it. They don't need to do that because before, back in the day, they would have to go to the video store, pick out their video, look like a pervert, look disgusting, feel ashamed, and they don't have to feel that anymore. They can open up their phone and access any girl they want to. So the reason why the dating scene is dead in 2024